internacional. Okeechobee, Florida, Estados Unidos de América. Envíenos sus comentarios e informes de recepción a info@wrmi.net o por correo regular a WRMI, apartado postal 526852, Miami, Florida 33152, Estados Unidos de América.
Третя година.
Українське радіо.
Триває війна з Росією. Кожен з нас на своєму місці може зробити свій внесок у перемогу. Приєднуйся до громадянського спротиву. Заходь на сайт Центру національного спротиву спротив.mod.gov.ua. Ми перетворимо життя окупантів на пекло. Спротив.mod.gov.ua.
Ефір Українського радіо продовжить програма англійською мовою.
Ukraine security issue.
Russia has been killing and terrorizing Ukrainians for 2.5 months. The Black Sea port city of Odessa has again been hit by Russian missiles. On Monday evening, they destroyed a shopping mall, one of the biggest in the country, and a large commodity warehouse. One civilian was killed and 5 were injured. As of Tuesday, the number of apartment buildings, private houses, bridges, and other civilian infrastructure facilities destroyed or damaged in the region had exceeded 3,000, and 92 towns and villages remained without water and electric power. 44 bodies have been recovered from under the rubble of a destroyed apartment building in the town of Izum, Kharkiv region. The Russian troops destroyed it back in March. At present, the town remains completely blocked and fierce fighting is ongoing in the area, so it is impossible to help the unfortunate residents. The Russian forces are on the offensive, aiming to cut off the Luhansk region and block the only road through which civilians are evacuated and humanitarian aid is delivered. Because of incessant shelling, Ukrainian rescuers are unable to reach any town or village to recover dozens of bodies. At the same time, the Ukrainian defenders are bravely holding the line, beating off all enemy attacks. Serhiy Haidai, head of the Luhansk region military administration, said on Tuesday that they had destroyed a pontoon bridge near one of the villages, thus halting supplies of ammunition, fuel and equipment, as well as personnel reinforcements to the Russian troops fighting in the area. At present, all pontoon bridges are destroyed. So is all the enemy equipment. Most of the Russian troops were killed and the rest escaped by swimming across the river. Fierce fighting continues in the areas of Zolote 3, Zolote 4 and Katerinivka. Our boys are having a hard time there, but they are holding the line. The enemy forces haven't advanced an inch. Voyevodivka remains under control. The areas near Rubizhna are also under control. All the enemy attacks fail, said Serhiy Haidai. Meanwhile, the Russians continue to bomb, shell and storm the Azovstal steel plant, the last stronghold of the Ukrainian defenders of Mariupol, but invariably fail to break through. Russia has not abandoned its plan to annex the occupied areas of Ukraine, according to Vadim Denisenko, advisor to the Interior Minister. We remember Putin's essay on the single nation and Novorossiya, where he calls the entire territory of Ukraine his territory. So there should be no illusions on that score. He didn't say it aloud, but he didn't so for one reason. If he had, it would have sped up the sanctions process and talks on an oil embargo. Now he's trying to buy time. All those recent statements indicate that they are preparing to annex the occupied areas of the Kherson region. That means Russia's key goal remains the same, to create a USSR-2. The only question is the configuration. They may either want it to compromise everything, including Belarus, or create quasi-republics under their control and under a guise of several union states, said Vadim Denisenko. If the Western allies and partners quickly deliver the heavy weapons they promise, the Ukrainian armed forces will be able to drive the whole Russian army out, Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said in an interview. According to him, tougher sanctions would make it impossible for Russia to produce high-precision weapons and would disable other reinforcements. But so far, by fanning the sentiments of the Russian people's exceptional power and mission, the Kremlin only strengthens their sense of impunity. That is evident from the atrocities committed by the Russian soldiers in Ukraine. Thousands of killed civilians, including hundreds of children, millions of ruined lives, totally destroyed cities and villages. That's what the Russian army brings to Ukraine, said Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Abductions of civilians in the occupied towns and villages of the Zaporizhia region have become more frequent, and locals are afraid to stay outdoors. According to Oleksandr Starukh, head of the Zaporizhia region military administration. There are areas in the so-called grey zone where military action is ongoing. The situation is the most complicated there. The grey zone stretches across the entire region. Every day, a gas pipeline or a power transmission line is broken, and the people's lives are in constant danger. The biggest problem for those who live in the occupied areas is the provision of medical aid, and they are under constant pressure from the terrorists who resort to everything they can to break the people's will. Abductions have become more frequent. We know about nearly 270 cases, said Oleksandr Starukh. According to Ukrainian intelligence, Russia's failures on the front lines in Ukraine have made the Kremlin-controlled mass media change the rhetoric of their propaganda. Now they're covering the war against Ukraine as an armed conflict between Russia and all EU and NATO countries. Kremlin political engineers believe that the defeat by a more powerful enemy would look less shameful. The managers of Kremlin TV channels, online media and bot farms have already received the orders to change the information policy.
Українське радіо. Стежимо за новинами цілодобово. Перевіряємо, повідомляємо.
Тим часом, поки ми слухали новини англійською мовою, надійшло повідомлення про скасування тривоги в Одесі.